Hi guys, it's Summers here. Welcome to another episode of my F1 2018 career mode. This time you're joining me in Spain at Barcelona, and as you can see we've got a major issue going into this race in terms of our internal combustion engine. There's a few of the other parts that are looking a bit suspect, but unfortunately the ice is completely and utterly done, like a dinner. Only 20 laps expected lifespan if we continue to use that part going into the race. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that changed as we exit FP3 in order that we've got a better ice going in towards the race. So as we move on here, just having a look at the accumulated resource points for free practice 3, which takes us up quite to a significant portion of points that we can use at the end of this race to try to improve the car. As you see, we're just going to miss out the programs, etc., and move on into the qualifying session. And as you can see here, we're in qualifying 3. I've just set a purple sector as we come into the last stages of the lap. You can see that I'm really still struggling with the lap here. I'm not really a big fan of Barcelona on these games, unfortunately. Especially this last sector is really twiggly, as most of the teams and drivers might actually tell you about in real life, to be honest. So that chicane makes life a bit more difficult. But as we can see, as we cross the line here, P1, 122.6. Obviously that's going to get beaten by the AI because I'm nowhere to the level of the top guys, and we move into Q2. And we're joining it on pretty much a similar part of the track, gone purple again. I'm really struggling with the super soft tyre on this circuit for some reason. Felt much more comfortable on the soft tyre. So I did contemplate moving on to the soft tyre for Q2 and doing what we've done in the past in terms of having an opposite strategy, but to be honest, I felt that I needed a decent-ish time to be able to get into Q3, so I opted for a slightly different strategy, obviously, in the end, and went on to the supers. That was 122.9 in the end, and put us in 8th for qualifying 2. I had a mare in qualifying 3, and yeah, another 122.9.
Let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today.
Here
he starts in pole
straight
position,
away, and it's the reason why I've showed you the starting grid.
In alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas, and Raikkonen, Hülkenberg, Alonso, Sainz, and Roman Grosjean, Magnussen, Ocon, Pierre Gasly, and Leclerc, Hartley, Stroll, Sergei Sirotkin, and the Professor. They've taken a grid penalty. Van Dorn and Marcus Ericsson rounds off the grid. And now it's time
so
to
as we can see, I've taken a grid penalty for this race.
Okay, be wary of the cars ahead braking suddenly into one. We could ruin our race if we hit them. Good luck.
I decided to take a gearbox penalty, which unfortunately, pre-patch, which is where we are at the moment, that was a 10-place grid penalty, when in fact it should be a 5-place grid penalty. But nevertheless, other drivers around us took penalties after us, so we line up ahead of them, and that puts us 18th on the grid. As you can see here, I'm just making some changes to the strategy, which has gained us 4 seconds according to the projection, which is a little odd why we weren't on that strategy in the first place. But anyway, I've gone super soft, which obviously I'm locked into because I qualified and got into Q3 on those tyres, and then moved into having 2 sets of softs for the race. And it's a pretty horrendous getaway, if I'm honest. Lots of wheel spin there, and I'm kind of being attacked here by the 2 that have qualified behind me on because of their penalties as well. As we go down the inside, and my God, that's a massive amount of cars we've just overtaken into turn 1 yet again.
That's a decent start. Good job.
Obviously back out of a battle with Sainz because I don't want to do what happened in Bahrain and run into the back of him going through that corner. Take him up the inside here, which was relatively easy, gave us plenty of room to go for that move. We've got Grosjean and Alonso ahead of us, and we dive down the inside of Alonso, who gets a little bit out of our way. Going into that turn, And now we've got Hulkenberg for company ahead and Grosjean behind. So Alonso actually lost out in that situation. He must have gone wide as we forced him wide in that turn. Car's behaving quite well in the opening stages here. Got high ERS deployment as we attack Hulkenberg towards the end of this lap. Don't want to get too detached from the German driver, but I think there's a bit of an inevitability where you look at where we line up in comparison to Renault with their car, and unfortunately my poor driving around the Spanish Grand Prix. So we're knocking it up to Rich Mix here with overtake mode, which is surprisingly allowed us past Hulkenberg into turn 1. Bit of elbows out as we go around the sort of inside line of that corner and push on towards Raikkonen who's ahead of us now. So we're up to P7 from P18 on the grid. Fantastic start to the race, and as we can see, we're just going to push on here.
The pit window. You'll be on the softs. Gap to teammate behind is 6.1 seconds.
So stop. So stop by a marshal post, stop by a fire post if you can.
So there we go, we've lost Hamilton from the race just before our pit window. Hamilton's actually out of the race. And
Don't forget, box this lap.
That's obviously promoted us further up the grid. Due into the box this lap, we've got Grosjean behind us who's running on the soft tyres, so he's going longer anyway in this stint. Be glad to get rid of these tyres, to be honest. I'm not a fan of the super soft around here. It just didn't seem to.
Our gap behind is 2.8 seconds.
It didn't seem to jive with my driving style and the Circuit De Barcelona, to be honest. So we're keeping our eye on the mini-map here as we make our pit stop. And Alonso has just gone by Sainz also, and we're going to exit just alongside Hulkenberg.
We'll be doing one more stop today. One stop left in our strategy.
Managed to get out just ahead of Hulkenberg. That was a requirement really as we come up onto the traffic on lap number 9. Obviously these guys are running on soft tyres towards the end of their stint now. Sorokin's quite an easy pass down the inside there, left us plenty of room to make that manoeuvre.
Alright, we're seeing a loss of power from the turbocharger now. Loss of power on the turbo.
Fantastic. A loss of power on the turbo just as we're starting to catch some of the pack. At least we made that change to the internal combustion engine, because otherwise I think we'd have been in a bit of trouble during this race. In fact, it would have most likely been a failure, but we'll skip forward here to a battle with Sainz and Ericsson. Sainz just getting past Ericsson, who's obviously on a different strategy to those around him. Poor exit there, going up over the curb. We should still be able to stay in tow of Ericsson down the main straight here. Should be a relatively easy pass as we've got DRS, overtake and Rich enabled. Getting alongside the Swede. Yeah, relatively easy. Oh, and Raikkonen is off to the side of the track. So I'm not sure what's happened there with the Finn, but he's
Okay, clear.
off in turn 1. Cut to lap 15 here, but we're having a bit of a battle with Roman Grosjean. As you can see, we banged wheels going into turn 1.
We've been awarded a time penalty. We'll go against our finishing time at the end of the race.
Unfortunately, on lap 15 we get caught out with a track limit violation, so we're going to have a 3-second penalty to worry about towards the end of this race.
Seconds to the next car. Push. Okay, we can take you this lap.
So at the end of lap 18 we're going to make a pit stop here, because we're really starting to feel the deg on the tyres.
Verstappen is stopping now.
fact, I probably should have gone a lap earlier, but I'm trying to think about the last stint and where that might position us. Having said that though, based on what happened in the first stint, perhaps an undercut might have been a better option, because we did lose track position compared to the likes of Sainz and Alonso in that first stint.
Go now.
Not a bad stop there by the team. As we can see on the mini-map, we're going to get thrown back out into a bit of traffic again.
Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tyres.
Van Dorn due to be the first of that break. So as we join at the end of that lap, we've caught up to the back of that train, and we've got Van Dorn, Ocon, and another couple of drivers just ahead. As we exit out onto the back straight, we've got DRS open, we're in overtake on the ERS. Let's see if we can get in there into turn 1. So as we go around turn 2, we're still on the back of Van Dorn, just holding station because we know what it's like trying to get onto the back of those drivers coming through that corner. And we grab him into the next corner, a bit of rough riding out onto the grass as we go over the curb, but we needed to make that move stick. Now we're onto the back of our teammate Ocon. I think we might try him under traction here. And again, we've just had to get out onto the grass just to get past Ocon there, as we chase down Hartley now. DRS open as we chase Hartley, and we're going to throw it down the inside. Bit of a late move, but it was a clean one. We've got Stroll ahead. Difficult place to catch up to the Canadian, because obviously we're going to get the dirty air coming off the Williams as we go into the slower part of the circuit. But luckily for us, he's peeling off into the pits, and that obviously gives us a big clean run now to the next car, as it also looks like Leclerc obviously pitted on that lap as well.
Sorry for that, Carlos. Sorry for that. The positive was that I was coming a really good lap. Yeah, I don't care.
Okay, so Sainz is out of the race.
Someone's come off ahead of you. There's a yellow flag ahead.
That obviously gives us another position that we've made up on the track, up to P6. As we come towards the end of the race here, we can see that there's some rain starting to come down. It's getting rather slippery out there. Just what you need at the end of a stint as well, some rain, just when you've got no tyres left.
These conditions are tough, but bear with it. I don't think the track is ready for intermediates yet. Gap to car in front is 15.0 seconds. The gap to the car behind is 2.3 seconds.
Okay, so as Jeff just mentioned there, the problem that we've got here is that we're going to struggle to come in and get inters and make up any time, because it isn't wet enough. As we go wide, that's a terrible corner there, as we've gone deep in that corner because of the weather conditions, and it's allowed Magnussen
DRS
past.
has been disabled by the stewards. DRS will be offline.
Okay, so obviously weather conditions have now meant that we've lost the DRS, and we're really starting to struggle now. I think there might be some lessons to be learned here for future forthcoming races. I'm still in high mode, and in hindsight, I think that should have been. We should have.
Some information on Vettel. They seem to have an issue.
We should have.
Gap to teammate behind is 13.7 seconds.
We should have really ditched it down to at least standard, because then we might have been able to improve our low-speed traction. But as we come towards the end of the race here, we've got to remember that we've got that 3-second time penalty. Magnussen's cleared us quite considerably out front, and I'm now really struggling for grip, and I've got Grosjean in close company, so unfortunately we're going to lose that position to Grosjean, even though we've managed to retain it going over the line.
Well done, good finish. You stepped up and achieved what we asked. Good job.
So not a bad result after all of that, 8th
And
position.
now let's take a look at the driver's standings. It's a good result for Valtteri Bottas. who extends his advantage at the top of the championship. And now I'd like to ask you, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
I have to give it to the Professor. They demonstrated a very delicate touch in close proximity to other cars, as well as showing a lot of maturity and patience in difficult situations.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes have extended their lead at the top of the standings. There was also a strong showing from the McLaren team today, as they make their way up the standings. It was great having you with us for this weekend. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective. You're breaking all expectations. What's your secret? You were cutting your way through the field during the race. Appreciate your time.
So we got a bit of a rep increase there from the team, which is always handy. As we go through to the rivals screen, we can see that we've taken a bit of a hit in comparison to Alonso in that race, unfortunately, considering we were racing him at one point. Some more resource points that we'll be able to spend on the development of the car will be handy. So we've got now over 2,000 resource points, and I think that we're going to go and spend quite a portion of those trying to improve the car. Okay guys, so as we look to round out this episode, let's take a look at the R&D tree and have an evaluation of where we are in comparison to the rest and what we need to spend our R&D points on in order to try to improve our fortunes. Looking here at the update that we're going to be doing on the ignition system, which comes in 2 weeks' time. That means obviously that we don't really need to spend any more on that side of things. I'm really tempted to do the aero update, both front and rear, because they're both major updates, and it's where we're really lagging behind in terms of our opposition. If you have a look at the R&D chart in a moment, when we go back to it, you'll see that we're kind of struggling against the rest of the pack that we're trying to fight in terms of aero. So updating that area might give us a bit of an advantage. I was also tempted by the engine cover weight reduction, because weight reduction equals performance and all of that. So in the end I've decided to go with the aero because that's where Force India went. They had their update for the front wing, which they brought to the Bahrain Grand Prix but never actually raced all the way through until Monaco. We're going to bring it in slightly after that, be with us in France, and as we can see, once we've got that update, it will actually push us up to the level of around Renault in terms of performance. I mean, clearly they're going to do some, or should potentially do some updates themselves as well, so it may be a case of us coming in just a little bit behind them, but a big update such as those two is going to be incredibly important going forward. So thanks for watching guys, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more F1 2018 career mode content. Also, if you're a fan of the technical side of F1, give me a follow over on Twitter.